Hello, my gorgeous Sacred Crones. Yay! It is Wednesday, Sacred Crone story time, and we are pushing through, like just speeding through, because I can't believe that the weeks are going by so quickly. We are speeding through Jean Shinola Boland's book, Crones Don't Whine, and she is like literally the wise woman, the grandmother of the whole crone inner wisdom, divine feminine goddess archetype, Jungian analyst with a whole dose of feminism thrown in, and I absolutely love her to bits, and I love this book. I'm really excited. Actually, I'm starting, she's got a 7-week program coming up, The Goddess Within, and I am starting it next week. Yay. Of course, me being in Australia, Australian stupid time according to the rest of the world. So yeah, it'll be more of those 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning kind of, experiences. This unfortunately is what happens when I do things, when I study with coaches and do programs that are from the Northern Hemisphere. I'm always up at stupid hour. I keep telling myself I'm going to go to bed earlier. I'm going to be one of those miracle morning wake up people and get all that stuff done in the day. But I live my life from my times. I live in the time zone that's the opposite side of the world, unfortunately for me at times. So here I am doing my thing at 1 in the afternoon Australia time. I'm hoping it is catching some of you at some point. I would actually love to hear from you here and there, those that can. I'm going to put up a poll in the group to try and get a sense of time zones that, to the best of my ability, without sort of, being ridiculous for me, but also fitting in for you. What are the good time zones for me to run things like workshops and masterclasses? Talking masterclasses, I'm so freaking excited. I have got my masterclass. You should be seeing it. I've 3 gorgeous crones have already signed up for it. It is free. You need to register. So I'm going to go check the event page after this for those who have indicated on the event page that they're interested, but to remind them that they actually need to click on the link and register through Calendly so that they get their Zoom link and all the rest of it. Those who register through Calendly to get their Zoom link, they will be the ones that get the replay. I am not going to stream it in here. No, I'm not. I'm not going to stream it live in here. I was tossing up what, do I stream things live in here or not? But you know what? I'm not going to. Yeah, if you want to attend my free masterclass, or at the very least get the replay, if you can't make the live session, then you're going to have to sign up for it. And it is my Let It Go, Frozen Elsa singing inspired masterclass, letting go of your regrets, letting go of all the flogging, self-limiting, crappy talk that we have about, oh God, what if, oh, I made this mistake, I made that mistake, and look at where I am now, kind of thing. We single empty nester women over 40 who are stepping into the 3rd and crowning phase of womanhood need to let go of the baggage. We're all human. We all make mistakes. But here's the beautiful thing. What you'll walk away from my masterclass, what I hope you walk away with, is that what letting go looks like is very different to what is generally said out there in the mainstream self-help, self-healing, self-empowerment, industry and modalities out there. It's not what you think. And so I'm really looking forward to sharing the insights that I've gained, both personally and professionally, on how to embrace every part of yourself, the whole thing, the whole shebang, how to see things in a way that that means that you're bringing it all in on the journey instead of trying to put your hand up and stop things and push them away. None of that's necessary. And so the masterclass, Let It Go, Crones Don't Live in Regret, that masterclass is on Monday the 28th, so next Monday, 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It will be live in Zoom. Those who come to join me live in Zoom for the masterclass also get to have a wisdom affirmation reading, so card reading as well. And we're going to do hey, waving, hello, gorgeous little eye with a 1 next to it. Comment now, love up, let me see who's here so I can love you up personally and get some engagement on this post as well from me, so that those who are in here also get notification that, hey, I've been here, here's alive, and they can watch this later on. So I was just being totally excited, reminding people next Monday is my masterclass. It is not going to be streamed live in this group. If you want to come, or at the very least get the replay, you have to register for it. So those who register, I will put the link above or below or whatever this video, but it's my Let It Go, Crones Don't Live in Regret masterclass. It's next Monday, Australian Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Those who register get the replay if they can't come live. Those who come live and join me for the fun, they get to have a wisdom card reading, and we're also, as part of what we're doing, we're going to do a quick meditation together as well, and a discussion about, well, what does it look like to really let go? I know that there's talk of letting go and putting the past behind you and all that kind of stuff, and cutting toxic people out of your life and all that stuff. That's quite prevalent in the self-help, self-empowerment space. And this was the space that I used to be in. It was the space that I used to work in. But it's now not about that. It's not about improving. You don't have to improve on what is already innately perfect. You don't actually have to go chasing down your problems. You don't have to analyze them. The answers are not found in the story in your head. All these wonderful, wonderful realizations got me to the point of being able to finally see what I used to call the mistakes, the things that I used to be ashamed of, the things that I told myself or what stopped me from achieving whatever it was that I thought that I needed to achieve. And I'm going to show you how you can bring all that story into your path so that you can take steps forward in the rest of your life. From here on in, us single women over 40, us empty nesters, we've more than likely left the corporate space or the full-time space. We are now looking at what our lives can be, filled with passion and purpose, and based on our inner wisdom, based on our divine, feminine, strong crone wisdom, and taking steps forward to live joyfully and unapologetically. And the key is that when we know how to let go in the right way, then our unapologetic living from here on in has got a really different flavor to it. It's not about getting on the defensive. It's not about putting up your armor and going into battle to set out your territory and do things in a kind of forceful, this is my way or the highway kind of attitude, because that ain't fun. Joy doesn't come from that. So I'm going to show you how it is that you put aside the fears, put aside the regrets, put aside the story that you used to tell yourself about the life that you had, so that you can step forward into the life that you want. Okay, so we are going forth with chapter 6, Crones Don't Whine. Crones are fierce about what matters to them. I love that. And it is, you can't separate the feminism from women's anything, let alone aging. Yeah, and I realized that came really strong. I've just got my latest article with Brains magazine, just came out now, and I had put an image, the image I wanted to use for it, I gave it to them, of a joyful, mature woman with clear signs of being mature, and they didn't use the image, and they used some other kind of airy-fairy image of a silhouette of a younger woman. And unfortunately, they published the article before checking my email saying, please don't use that image. If you can't use the image I gave you, please use something that is at least reflective of what I gave you. So I'll chase them up on that next, well, hopefully from here on in. I just had to make it really clear. My branding is, I am on a mission to make it very clear in my branding, in my messaging, in what I put out in the media, is I want the visible representation of the diversity of mature women doing amazing things, or doing nothing, because that's amazing as well. You know what I mean? It's like, but have it, you know, I'm sick and tired of the messaging out there and the imagery out there for women over 40, women over 50, women over 60, still looking like they're in their 20s or aimed at 20s and 30s. And no. And you will never ever hear me saying, youth, you know, get your youth back, or feel youthful. Youth is not vitality. Youth is not juicy. Youth has got nothing to do with passion and purpose and all the good stuff that comes with being a woman who stepped into her wisdom. So you're never going to hear me say that, ever. And I really am going out of my way to make sure that the imagery that you see me use is imagery that reflects the diversity of what women over 40 look like. You know, this is my aim, and very much so. And that is coming out of a feminist, you know, revolutionary kind of statement against the misogyny and youth obsession of our current global consumer culture that is really making it virtually impossible for older women to be seen, to be heard in their entirety as they are. Yes, I am noticing celebrity media. There's, oh, look at J-Lo, she's 45 and she's still fuckable. Yeah, well, yeah, but she's, you know, she's fuckable because she's apparently managed to maintain a hard body that most 20-year-olds wouldn't have. Stuff like that. Oh, look at Madonna, look at Cher. Well, they've had enough plastic surgery that none of them can smile, and they're not reflecting. They're not reflecting the visible signs of maturing that happen to women, to all people, frankly. But it's like men can mature and look with grey hair and wrinkles and a pot belly and still be considered sexiest man of the universe. But women apparently are not allowed to do that. So yeah, I'm just really determined to make sure that I represent what women look like as they age throughout, you know, throughout, isn't it, as much and cover it with as much diverse representation of ethnic and cultural and racial as I possibly can, you know. Yeah. So, on to it. Who's this gorgeous person that's watching? I can see a number 1 with an I, but I can't see who you are. Drop a comment in, do some love hearts, get a little bit of engagement on this so other people can jump in, and also so I can see who you are and love you up personally. Please, if you've got any questions, if you've got anything to say, please put a comment so I can see it. I am going to continue with the reading of Crones Are Fierce About What Matters to Them. This is chapter 6 from the book that we've been reading together as part of Sacred Crone Storytime, called Crones Don't Whine by Jean Shanola Boland, MD. And I absolutely love her, and she's got a course that I'm starting next week with her, and I can't wait. Anyway, here we go. Gloria Steinem has often noted that women tend to be more conservative when young and become rebellious and radical as they grow older, while it's the opposite for men. Women become fiercely compassionate crones when they are outraged at the suffering caused as much by indifference by those in authority as by the perpetrators. Compassion and anger come together for terrorized, abused, helpless, neglected people whose plight is considered of little importance because they have no power or value in the world where greed and power over others rather than concern for others is the ruling principle. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, political action has always been a part of my life, but it's quite interesting that I have noticed that as now that I am older and I'm at increasing levels of not giving a fuck what people think, I am more vocal about it. My activism, my political awareness raising, particularly for me, it's around issues of domestic violence because I've been through 2 violent marriages. In fact, currently now I'm in creative partnership with a UK charity that will become a global charity in the near future, called More to Her Life. So anyone who works with me, I contribute percentage of my fees to More to Her Life, and More to Her Life is all about helping women who have been facilitated into a home through the government programs and that, but it's the next layer. It's the layer of helping women dream beyond the abuse. One of the biggest issues that happen for women, that if they do even manage to get out of the abusive marriage, often find themselves in very basic situations, accommodation and that, not enough of really what's needed, and certainly nothing that inspires a richness and abundance. And so then, unfortunately for many who find themselves in that situation, the next step to staying out of abuse becomes harder, and a lot of women do find themselves going backwards. So what More to Her Life is all about is to provide the space, the support, both financial and practical and emotional, through its programs that it provides, to help women who have taken that step out of abuse to not go back again. And so I'm really proud to be part of that. So that's one way that I as a crone am trying to support those that are in need to the best of my ability. And I'm hoping that when my business, Essential Awakening Mentoring, becomes the empire that I hope that it will be, that I'll have, on top of what I do with More to Her Life, I'll have my own not-for-profits and do my own stuff as well. That's what I'm looking forward to. But the beauty is that we get to, when we have stepped into our inner wise woman, when we've stepped into our unapologetic crone self, we get to speak out with fearless compassion. And I love that. When we are no longer sort of scared about what we're thinking or what people are going to say, when we no longer feel the need to defend or explain, when we've let go of judgment of others and what they're doing, we then have the space within to lead from our heart and take wise, aligned action to help those around us to the best of our abilities. So, crones are not naive or in denial about reality. When something in particular is an outrage, or doing something about it is a choice, a moment of truth occurs in which activists are born. The suffering of others, or the feeling of enough is enough. Thank you for the loving. Enough is enough radicalizes older women. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so important to know that we have passion, we have purpose, we have power. And I look forward to a day where more and more mature women are taking over things and really speaking against this youth obsession, so that we can have the impact that the power within of our wisdom can bring about is terribly needed. I mean, just imagine a world run by wise women instead of women and men who are operating from a toxic masculine agenda. Anyway, women become radicalized through empathy. It's not difficult for women to imagine and feel what it would be like to be helpless and abused, made worse by indifference of those who could make a difference. Reality rather than imagination may be the source of empathy. When 1 in 3 women in the world will have been beaten or raped in their lifetime, and everyday violence requires that women always be alert to this possibility. Yep, I'm one of those 1 in 3. A crone is a woman who has found her voice. She knows that silence is consent. This is a quality that makes older women feared. And it is. And this is it. And this is why, it's so important to make our aging a revolutionary mission in our lives as best as possible, because the fact that the idealization of youth and the standards placed on women and the increasing invisibility of women who are aging in the general sphere. What's really beautiful about Jean's work, so Jean here is a Jungian analyst, PhD Jungian analyst and feminist activist, as you can hear. And what she's actually done, she's got a book, Goddesses Within, and her program that I'm starting with her next week is about activating the goddess within. And she covers, in her entirety of what she does, she covers all the levels of womanhood, the prepubescent, the fertility phase, and the menopausal phase and beyond. But what she has particularly focused on in the crone phase is talking about the fact that even so the Greek pantheon and the Roman pantheon, neither of them, what they've actually done is she had to go back, even pre-Greek, to find any, and in other cultures, I mean, it's Western culture particularly, what has happened is within the Western culture and the archetypes and stories of our Western culture, you actually have to go outside our culture, and you certainly have to go back even before classical Greek culture to find the power stories of the older woman, the older wise woman. And what she found in her studies is that many of the male Roman and Greek gods, in their contextual understanding, what they were actually these wise women from the previous cultures and other cultures, and they just took their qualities and gave it to the men. And we can then see that erasing of the women and the wise women particularly. So then the only sort of woman that was carried through, and we can see that in Christianity and the Abrahamic religions, and Roman pantheon, Greek pantheon, we can see it all, is that the only woman figures that have actually stayed were like the Virgin Mother kind of thing, the fertile young maiden, but the mature wise woman got erased. And as misogynistic patriarchal societies built and got stronger and spread throughout the world with Christianity and colonialism, the erasing of the wise woman is absolutely from fear, because the wise woman completely counteracts the toxic male way of running things. So disturbs the power that be. So it is absolutely crucially important that one of the things I really feel that when we as mature women finally let go of all the stories of shoulds and musts and oughts, and let go of all the regrets and the mistakes and all that crap that we've been putting on ourselves and internalizing from society, and we set it aside and step into our inner wise woman and take steps out in the world through our heart for wisdom, then we get to disturb the status quo. And this is what I'm hoping to see happen. This is my mission. Okay, so a crone. So we were saying women become radicalized through empathy, because indeed this current system, we've seen it really become quite clear through COVID, this current system is far from empathetic. It's toxic, it's dangerous, and it's brutal, particularly to women and children. A crone is a woman who has found her voice. She knows that silence is consent. This is the quality that makes the older woman feared. It's not the innocent voice of a child who says the emperor has no clothes, but the fierce truthfulness of the crone that is the voice of reality. But the innocent child and the crone are seeing through the illusions, denials, or spin to the truth. But the crone knows about the deception and its consequences, and it angers her. Her fierceness springs from her heart, gives her courage, makes her a force to be reckoned with. And it's fierceness, and it's a fearless compassion. And I really want to sort of just very quickly touch on it. It is qualitatively vastly different, and I've noticed this. I've noticed that my political militancy, I guess, I will say militant. I mean, I've never participated in active violent revolution, though sometimes I think it's a bloody good idea. Sometimes, in some contexts, I certainly don't poo-poo it in different contexts where it's might be happening. Unfortunately, sometimes it is needed, but I do appreciate that the anger and screaming rage of my youthful protest and activism, it was born of fear. It was still tempered with the limited ego thinking and fear. And when we protest from a space of fear, that's when we are in our head about it. That's where we have us and them kind of thing. That's where we can find ourselves responding, where we find ourselves responding to the injustice that is present, but we're responding to it with equal harshness. When we are in a state of wisdom, when we have let go of the stories of shoulds and musts, when we are no longer being led by our fear-based ego thinking, but have stepped into our heartful wisdom in the present moment and are totally tuned in each present moment to our divinely guided wisdom, our heartful wisdom, what happens is we get to respond to oppression, not from anxiety and fear and outrage and they suck and I'm right and all that kind of thinking that gets in the road of being able to bring about a solution that is one that everyone can join in on. I know that when we see oppression and we see it from a lens of anger and a lens of fear, we want to punish. We want to punish them. So this is probably why a lot of revolutions have failed in the end and not brought about lasting change. And I know that it feels really hard to even contemplate what compassion might look like for pedophiles and rapists and wife beaters and murderers and you know, all the stuff. I get it. It can seem like, you know, you're asking way too much. They just need to be punished. But the problem is if we approach the ills of this world and the people that are creating harm from a state of punishment, then nothing is ever going to change. We want to bring about empathy and compassion in the world, and you cannot bring empathy and compassion in the world with hate and anger. And so this is what is hopeful when women are operating from their wise woman and from their heart for wisdom and their fearless compassion, as opposed to being, you know, Margaret Thatchers of this world, or Hillary Clintons of this world, or Condoleezza Rice's of this world. You know, women who might have been in power, but they were not at all leading from the divine feminine at all in any way, shape or form. Okay, so the fierce compassion of a crone is an outgrowth of a mother bear material protectiveness, fought for those beyond her immediate nuclear family. Among Indigenous peoples, grandmother is a title of respect for an older woman in a society that had councils of wise women elders, women beyond childbearing years, whose own children were grown, and whose maternal concerns was now for all the children of the tribe and for generations to come. A mother bear is fiercely protective of her young. What is less well known is that she also practices a form of tough love. Tough love. As a Buddhist, it's what we call wrathful compassion. So it may have a ferocity as an outer display, but it's not done from anger and fear, it's done from love. And qualitatively, it makes the whole experience vastly different. So mother fiercely protective. What is less well known is that her grown cubs are able to take care of themselves, but would rather she continue to provide for them. She runs them up a tree with her fierceness. When they finally decide to come down, they are on their own, and if they are to eat and survive, they must use the skills she has taught them. It is the exceptional power of the mother bear, coupled with her maternal concern, that demands respect and fear. Smaller creatures, including human mothers, are also fiercely maternal, but they are often not powerful enough to be feared or strong enough to protect their offspring. While brute force still has to be reckoned with in some human situations, civilization measures power economically and politically. And I totally agree with that. And the fact of the matter is, it's more economic than political. Personally, my activism, I'm very much of the mindset that our power as civilians, particularly now that there is no economic democracy attached to political democracy, that we see that. We've got Dumb and Dumber to vote for, and they're all centre right. So really, you know, and they're all corporate sponsored, and there you go. The old saying, they'll kill us all to make $1, is not far from the truth. But where our power lies is in the economic structure, is in what we choose to do with our money. So I am very much into the boycott movement, boycotting economically companies, corporations, governments, whatever, that profit from oppression. So very much on that front, and that is where our power can lie, far more strongly than the political, because at the moment, well, certainly not from within, I feel like our political systems are so well tied up now that trying to institute change from within is pretty hard without the money factor in. So there you go. But that's what we women may not be able to combat the physical oppression quite as easily with brute force, but we certainly can use our wisdom to set about creating change and calling to account through other means, economic and or political. And so in the Western world, women have been acquiring power through educations and positions of authority, and men are learning that it is a mistake to underestimate a woman's passion for social justice and power to expose wrongdoing. Wrongdoing that provokes mother bear fierceness is almost always both a betrayal of trust and an exploitation of others. This is compounded if a woman is discounted or treated punitively when she initially brings information to light. This further betrayal fuels determination and fierceness rather than shuts her up as intended. So then I put it to you, what out there is the focus for your desire for justice? Where can you insert your voice to bring about a positive change in your local and global community? Of course, start with yourself. Start with, how are you oppressing yourself? What stories and self-limiting beliefs are you perpetuating within your own life that is stopping you? I realized from my 2 abusive marriages that I found myself in, totally acknowledging that nothing I said or did made them feel the way they felt, nor was it the cause for them to choose the behavior that they chose. So don't ever get me wrong. I'm never saying that the oppressor had any good reason to do what they did. They don't. We have a pact with the universe, with the divine, God, however you want to call it, to not act like assholes. But the first and foremost, not act like an asshole to yourself. So how did I oppress myself? Well, I oppressed myself by not speaking and thinking well of myself. That enabled me to pick men that were not going to treat me with dignity. And then because of that lack of self-worth compounded by their gaslighting, I stayed longer trying to fix them and fix the situation and trying to understand why and all this sort of crap, instead of just saying, I am by dint of my existence a miracle and none of this is what is universally deserved, and taking a step out of that and taking care of myself in the process. So the first step is, how are you oppressing yourself, and what are you going to do about that? You can't control the outside world and how it responds, and you certainly can't control other people. Through my talks that I've been doing in summits over the last couple of weeks, discussing happiness. Happiness does not come from the stuff. Changing relationships, changing jobs, getting money, doing this, doing that, whatever, is not the cause of your happiness. It's not the cause of your unhappiness. It's the story you tell of it that is. So how are you oppressing yourself through your thinking, and what can you do about that? And if you need any help with that, hit me up, get in my DMs, make a comment. This is exactly what I'm all about. The masterclass that I'm doing is a taste of the letting go of regrets. But of course, as with all masterclasses and things like that, it is a little taste of one facet of how you can step into your innate wisdom, become your unapologetic Crone self, and joy reboot your life. These are the things that you will be able to do when you work with me. And I have got my one-to-one program launching July 8th. I have maximum 10 spaces for this. It's a one-on-one 12-week theme-based one-on-one program. So 6 weeks of one-to-one 1.5 hour sessions, and the alternate fortnight. So you've got 6 fortnightly sessions, one-on-one in Zoom with me, and 6 fortnightly Voxer weeks, plus other bonus masterclasses and bonus membership in 3-month free membership into my Cackling Crones collective monthly membership. So, but what we will do together, what I hope that you gain from working with me one-on-one, is to identify, how you're oppressing yourself through your thinking, and then take steps towards awareness and wisdom and appreciation, self-kindness, working out how to be okay even when, things aren't going okay, and how to hear your wisdom in the present moment, how to be in the present moment, not in the past, not in the future worrying, but hearing your innate wisdom in the present moment, and trusting in that journey, that when you take one step at a time, it is taking you where you need to go, with aligned action and joyful wisdom. And so this is what you're going to get when you work with me. So ask yourself the question now, how are you oppressing yourself? And then have a little look at how are you innocently oppressing those around you. And we innocently oppress those around us because we don't often realize we are not living in the understanding of the truth of our human experience. For very much most of us, for most of our lives, what we believe, what we tell ourselves, is that the outside world and the people in it are causing us to feel stuff. We'll say stuff like, my husband's pissing me off, or my wife is pissing me off, or my kids are frustrating me, or my job is annoying me, or whatever. All the good stuff, we'll say, that person made me happy, and that situation made me happy. And when we think that the outside world and the people in it are the things that are causing us to feel stuff, good or bad, then naturally we would think that in order to either get more or have less of the thing we don't want, get more of what we do want, have less of what we don't want, we then think that the solutions to doing that are outward solutions, as solutions to control that outside world. And then when we do that, and it's an innocent mistake, it's based on a misunderstanding of the truth of our human experience. And the truth is, we create our reality through our thinking. Our feeling comes through our thinking. But we don't have to go analyzing our thinking. We don't find the answers through dredging up what we told ourselves and when and why and how. It's just awareness that it's thinking. And this is vastly different to what is out there in the mainstream self-help, self-empowerment kind of space, where it has you really focused on either changing your situation and or changing what you're thinking. Yeah, and when you're working with me, it'll be neither of that. It's about resting into your wisdom, settling into that trust of what is already present for you, and stepping forth from that, and realizing that as we do that, our life unfolds for us in the joyful way that it is intended for us. Our suffering is from the story that we tell. So anyway, that is your lot on Crone's wisdom story time. Pardon me, back. Now, there they are. I am going to do a quick group wisdom card for the group for the week. Your sacred wisdom affirmation. I love this set. This set is just so gorgeous. This is the set we're working with. It is an Australian girl. I absolutely love it. Golden Lotus. Golden Lotus by, what's this saying? Okay. Marketing guys, gold font on yellow card, not handy at all to read. Okay, her name is Michelle Mann, M-A-N-N, and is the Gold Lotus Oracle deck, and I absolutely love it. It's so pretty. So pretty. So I'll pull a wisdom card. Ooh, who's here? If you want a wisdom card, hey Zine, lovely to see you. Yay. Look, you're going to have to do replay and catch the blurb and the story. So I won't repeat it all, that'll bore the crap out of everyone. Pop a comment in if you want a card. Do you want a wisdom card? So today we were just talking about how the Crones who are in their innate wisdom get to speak out against the injustices in their lives and the lives of others, but they get to do it not out of fear, but out of fearless compassion. And it produces a completely different response and a different outcome when we get to respond to the world around us and shift the world around us from our innate wisdom of fearless compassion and joy. And I also then talked about, of course, my upcoming... Yes, please watch it tomorrow. Absolutely. And I let everyone know, next Monday, 28th at 9 a.m, I am doing my free masterclass. Yes, I'll pull you a card. I'm doing my masterclass. So Zine, if you haven't signed up for it already, please do. I want people need to register for the masterclass. If you're not able to come live to the masterclass, those who register will get the replay. I will not be streaming the masterclass into the group. So it'll be live in Zoom and replays for those who sign up. So do sign up, and I'll put the link to sign up above, below, whatever, around this video. But it's there's quite a lot of activity about it on the wall already. It's the Let It Go, Crones Don't Live in Regret masterclass. So, Zine, you put out your question to the universe. And we'll see what your lesson is for the week. Of course, you take from it what you want. I am not at all doing this from the position of saying I'm a psychic. I am not. This is not about fortune telling. This is just a wisdom prompt. You already have the wisdom. The card isn't giving it to you. I'm not giving it to you. It's already in you. But what I like about things like this is it helps us to focus our attention inwards to what arises as what makes sense for us. So, all right, so Zine, here is your card. One last shuffle. Oh, there it is there. Okay, love it. So for you, you've got the card. I don't know if you can see that. The light is a bit terrible. Bridget. It says Bridget. Bridget is actually one of the in the Celtic pantheon, pre-Christian Celtic, Irish Celtic context. One of the goddesses from their cultural references. I will look it up and read to you exactly. I actually pulled it the other day. It was beautiful. Bridget. Okay, so for you, Bridget, the Irish goddess she has flowing red hair. I'll show you again. That's her there. That's better. She has flowing red hair. She stands above the cliffs of Moher with wind blowing around her. Butterflies, insects, and words swirl as she hears the songs the wind makes. When Bridget sings, light shines from her and she sings the sounds of the birds, meaning Bridget is here to guide you with songs and poetry. Her flowing red hair releases the words that float around you as you are inspired to write and sing. If it has been some time since you have flowed with words and song, Bridget will rise within you to intensify your creativity and passion. Ground yourself by standing with green grass under your feet. If not real, then imagine in your mind bare feet on grass. Allow your mind to wander to the edge of the cliffs. You are safe. And see the winds bringing the words and verses to you. Your mind will fill with inspiration and awaken the imagination within you. Powerful and absolutely totally on point with what we're talking about in today's chapter, on being fierce in speaking the truth and standing up and speaking the truth and standing up for justice. So you are called this week, dear Zine, to ground yourself either out in that, I mean, if you can get your feet on actual grass, that's a great thing. But certainly find some space and time during the week to ground yourself, turn your attention within, and see what your wisdom is speaking, and find a way to express that. For me, it is writing. I do sing, but my singing is, I'm kind of what I think I call the reluctant performer. I don't really perform for people, but I do find that singing in the lounge room, singing in the shower, you know, all those sorts of things really does help get the energy moving and shift. And okay, for those who are into the chakra stuff, it's opening the throat chakra, it's opening the voice. But it's the voice that comes from the heart, from the wisdom, not the voice here in our head. We can shut that one up because it's useless. Okay, so that's your card for you, but I'm going to do a group card. And of course, with all these wisdom cards, take from it what makes sense to you. Listen to your own damn wisdom. Absolutely no. Well, write. Absolutely right. Just put the pen to paper. Put the pen to paper and write. The thing that gets in the road of us writing is we come at it from an intellectual point of view and think that we need to write from here. It's not writing from here. I've been this last, since the beginning of the year, I've been submitting articles to Brains magazine. The latest one is on the wall there, and the writing is not coming from my intellect. If I have to try and think of the story and think of the writing, or the transformational story posts that you see me posting around the place, they are not written from my intellect. I sit, I quieten myself. As I was saying, I find the space within and I allow myself to be inspired by whatever. It could be something else, it could be an image, it could be whatever has triggered my wisdom voice, and then I allow myself to just write what is arising within me. It helps to not short circuit yourself by immediately going into copyright mode, you know, as in like editing mode, proofreading mode. Don't just write. Also, what can be really helpful if you find yourself blocked from your inner voice is try writing with your non-dominant hand. For me, that's my left hand. Initially it might be just squiggles. You may not be able to write full sentences, but with practice you get a little bit better with it. But again, it's about writing without getting caught up in your head. So try doing that for a while and see how that goes for you. But mainly is don't overthink it. Just write. Just write. Also writing, the other writing thing I love doing is Tanya Taylor, my coach. Absolutely love her. Hey Tanya, if you watch this later, what she calls the Dream Day Journal. And the Dream Day Journal is the only way anyone should be journaling. I know that most of us, me included, we've kept journals where Yep, pleasure zine, whatever works. And see, the thing is, these are suggestions from me, but your inner wisdom will guide you to what works for you. So don't get too freaked out on the mechanics of it, you know. But yeah, this dream day journal, a lot of us basically, me included, I've got like dozens and dozens of journals over the year that I used to, you know, write, and they're all complaints. They're all this, you know, oh, you know, God, this didn't work, that person did this, this happened, this, and it's all about what we don't want. It's all about the woes and the crap that happened. Stop doing it immediately. Burn those ones. Don't even reread them. Burn them all if you can safely burn them. If not, toss them out. I'm in an apartment. I can't safely ritually burn things without setting off the fire alarm. So for me, I throw things out but yeah, nonetheless, off to recycling with them. But the idea is that if you are going to keep journaling, which you should, because it's brilliant, it's about the dreams, it's about the hopes, it's about what you want. You cannot talk about what you don't want. You cannot talk about the shit that's happened, because you're just bringing more of it into the world. It's writing in the present moment. I have the things that you want, the life that you want. So you could well be writing in your dream day journal, the you that is writing, that is a published author, that is speaking her truth with ease and passion, and you write that, and you write that into existence, because you are calling what is within you already into form through that. So give that a whirl as well. Anyway, okay, so this is me not being able to shuffle and talk at the same time, like Kelly Jones. Got to pull in Kelly Jones again to do another reading. I absolutely love her. Our beautiful Kelly Jones of Divinely Loved by You, psychic reader and spiritual coach as well. And she's absolutely fabulous, and I love all her readings that she does. So spot on all the time. But I also love the way she shuffles. You can catch her on YouTube as well. I think she's on YouTube. She's here in Facebook. She's on Clubhouse. I got Clubhouse. I don't know. I ended up getting it, but I couldn't be bothered using it. But there you go. Anyway, Kelly is amazing with her shuffling. She's like you know, casino level, crazy good shuffler, and talking fully at the same time. And her shuffling is so cool to watch of the cards. I just love it. So there you go, Kelly. Love you. Got to get her in. She is in. Kelly was one of the first guest speakers, Women of Wisdom guest speakers. So if you go to the topic area, hashtag Women of Wisdom, you will find Kelly's talk from earlier this year. In fact, that hashtag, you'll find previous speakers of the year that we've had. Been a bit quiet. We haven't had a few, and I haven't been promoting them to come in, so I need to do that as well soon. Okay, so for my beautiful collective, my wonderful Crones, your wisdom card for the week is gorgeous. It is glow. Oh, I love that. Okay, so I think we're better off when we go like that. Yeah, glow. Very cute. Okay, the light is so weird. There you go, glow. Let us read glow. She's gorgeous. She's got flowing hair, and she's absolutely. These are just the prettiest cards. I absolutely adore them. What are we getting? Where is glow? Where is glow? Oh, because L is before O, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, glow, forest maiden. So this is our card for the collective. A horned maiden is listening to the hummingbird that is whispering to her about the forest. He tells her about the journey she's going on. She's deeply connected to all that is around her, animals, forest, rivers, and streams. Hold it up again. Sorry that my light is just bizarre. It's very bright. Glow speaks directly to the wildlife around her and shares their world. She is a free spirit. She dances and twirls to the songs of the birds. She is connected with the conception of crops and seasonal cycles which sustain her. Her life light shines brightly. She's strong and sure of herself. Love from her heart radiates from her lime green hair. Yes, it is lovely, a bit yellowy, limey green. She is around you and to help you connect with nature, to quiet the mind and listen to the hummingbird. Find a space where you can connect with nature, even if it is in your mind. Open your heart and listen. So bring it back to, yes, if you could find a space outside, do so. But if not, our open pastures and forests of the mind, and connect with that and connect with our cycles. In saying that, we'll be having a part of the talking about connecting with cycles for those who join my Sacred Crone monthly membership. Part of tapping into our cycles of womanhood for that collective, for that membership, is we'll be having monthly waning crone moon circles. It's circles to bring into existence what we want and let go of what we don't want. That's for those who join the paid membership. There you go. And this, what we've been doing here as the Sacred Crone Story Time, when this book series ends, we've got another 6 weeks. This had 13 chapters. When this series ends, if you want to continue the journey of Sacred Crone Story Time with different books each month, that again will be something that's part of the membership. You're getting a taste of what it looks like in the free group here. Okay, well, thank you, Zine, my dear, for joining again and staying. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And for those of you who are watching this in replay, drop a hello. Tell me where you're helloing from, particularly all the newbies. Thank you for joining me. We've had an influx of newbie crones over the last week or couple of weeks. I feel totally excited, particularly because I haven't actually been actively promoting the group. So yay. Welcome. Say hi. If you've got a question, and ask a question. If you share your insights, let me know. And look forward to next week. Next week we have, what's the next chapter? Oh God, I made it go away. Next chapter is Crones. So chapter 7 for next week is Crones Choose the Path with Heart. Cool. So we'll be looking at that. See you all later. Coffee time for me. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Love you all. And sign up and register for the upcoming, it's Monday. This coming Monday is the masterclass. It's free. It's going to be live in Zoom. It's going to be lots of fun. We're going to be letting go of all our regrets and freeing up space to bring in all the good stuff. And if you do not register, then you will not get the replay. So register. I love it. Isn't this fun? I got it yesterday. It's so freaking soft and smushy, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love baggy jumpers. It's like 100 sizes too big, but I just love baggy, and it's so soft. Yeah. So this replaces the fact that I'm in an apartment and I can't get a cat or a bunny. So it's fluffy cushions and fluffy jumpers for me. Anyway, love you all. Hope you're all doing very well on your ends. If you've got any issues, please DM me. This wall is open for you. It's open for you private, like it's a private group, but the wall is open. There's no needing moderators' permissions or anything like that. Share your stories. Share your insights. But directly. One thing I do ask is that people don't share posts from elsewhere into the group. So if you want to post something, post it directly, please. It's something about Facebook group algorithms and blah, blah, blah and all that crap. But nonetheless, apparently it makes a difference. So, yeah, it's something like if people just keep sharing links from their profile and other pages and all over the place and into the group, it turns the group's activity level into almost like it's a spam group or something like that. Whereas when all the posts are original, direct to the wall, it makes the algorithm so that people see things because it's considered to be original and all that stuff. So that's the only thing I ask, is that people do things directly. But the wall is open for you guys to share your thoughts and your insights and ask your questions and support each other on our crone journey. Tell us how it all looks for you. Okay. See you all next week. Bye.